Many homeowners and potential buyers have been sitting on the sidelines for months because the real estate market has been unpredictable and volatile. If that's you, then watch this video. If we haven't met before, I'm Christen.ripoli, real estate agent in the greater Charlotte area, and I help people just like you buy, sell, invest, and relocate to the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Every week, we post videos on this channel going over what it's like to live, work, and play in Charlotte and details about the Charlotte real estate market. If that's interesting to you, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell so that you get notified every time a new video is launched. If you're like most people, you've been looking at this real estate market and wondering what in the world is going on. And that's to be expected because it has been very unusual lately. There are many people looking at the housing market and thinking it is a terrible time to buy or sell real estate. And I can understand why. If you have a mortgage payment and you're paying only 2 or 3% interest rate, you are looking at the trade up of interest into the 6s and 7% and thinking that is bonkers. So I get it. However, there are people who have to buy or sell in today's market, and this video is for you because knowledge is power and you want to know exactly what's happening in the market so that you can make the best choice for you. But you're here for the stats, so let's go ahead and jump in. A couple quick notes before we jump into these stats. There are several numbers we're going to be looking at today, and they come from April 2024 in the entire Charlotte real estate market. The reason we do this is we want to compile all of the data from an entire month, so that's why there's a little bit of delay on these numbers, but that does not mean they don't have something important to show us about the current real estate market. As you know, the age-old rule of real estate is location, location, location. And you will see that that is so true even today because every niche market, every hyper-local area is going to have a very specific set of numbers, and that matters because they don't always match what's happening on average across the entire region. So for instance, if you are looking for a home in Weddington, North Carolina, which is just down the street from where I live, so it's right in my backyard, it's an area that I serve regularly. A lot of the homes in that area are selling over list price with multiple offers because it is a very desirable location. Charlotte as a whole is very desirable, but of course, just like any other big city, there are more and less desirable areas. And the numbers we're looking at today are an average over all of those areas. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first stat, and that is new listings. In the entire Charlotte MLS in April 2024, we had 5,175 new listings, which was a 17% increase from last April. That's very important to note that inventory is increasing because another very important factor of real estate is supply and demand. This is telling us we are upping our inventory. People are starting to sell those homes, and now it is time for the buyers to jump in. We have an increase of inventory from last month as well. We had 4,834 homes listed, new listings last month. So we are experiencing an increase there. It is also very important to note that we are just about to jump into summer, which typically does experience a slight slowdown in real estate. A lot of people are taking vacations, school just let out, so there's just a little bit of slowdown when summer hits. But you can also notice that the market does go up and down very regularly. It's very cyclical, so everything that goes up does come down. These last few months have been very unusual. Typically you have a low and a high and then everything in the middle. And we've had some volatility in the last couple of months. So that is typical in a very strange real estate market, which is what we're experiencing right now. This next stat we're going to take a look at is pending sales. Now, pending sales are those homes that have gone under contract in a given month. So for April 2024, there were 4,250 homes that went under contract, which was an increase of 3.6% from last April. And it was a pretty healthy increase from March 2024, which is a good thing. We do want to see new homes hitting the market, and we want to see homes going under contract. That is what keeps the real estate market moving, and that is what we want to see in this current market. This next stat we're going to take a look at is closed sales. Now, just keep in mind, based on the timeline of real estate, that closed sales typically tend to be a little bit more delayed than the first two stats we looked at. That is because the typical real estate transaction in Charlotte, North Carolina takes roughly 30 to 45 days. So therefore, anything that closed in April 2024, it's very possible that it went under contract in March. So we are often looking at a little bit of a delayed number when we're looking at closed sales. So for April 2024, we had 3,592 closed sales, which was a slight decrease, 2.9%. I would definitely expect this number would go up for next month based on the number that went under contract in April. This next stat we're going to take a look at is one of my favorites. It is days on market until sale. The reason this one is one of my favorites is because it actually tells a story. Oftentimes when homes are on the market for a very short days on market, maybe 0 to 3 days, you can look at that list to sale ratio, and you're going to be much more likely to see that the home closed for over list price, sometimes significantly over list price. Now, in cases where a home sits on the market for an extended period of time, specifically longer than the average, those are the times that you're going to notice that that home typically sells for under the list price, sometimes significantly so. In April 2024, we saw an average days on market of 37. This is trending down ever since February, which is typical in the spring. Of course, the spring is the hottest selling market. It's when most of the real estate happens. And actually, what we're going to find when we look at these numbers next month is that May is typically the highest producing month around. So I expect to see some very interesting numbers next month. But we're still talking about April, so let's take a look. This is a 7.5% decrease from last April, which means homes are selling faster this year than they were last year. Again, that is totally to be expected because this market is moving very fast. In fact, let me tell you a quick story. I am showing homes to a family who is moving here from Florida, and they are looking in Weddington. I've shown them probably over 10 homes in the last month or so, and every home that they loved went under contract pretty much the same weekend that it went active. So that always indicates that that price is going to close higher than the list price. So I'm watching those homes so that I can see where they end up closing, because again, those numbers play a big part in what is happening in real estate. Before we jump into this next stat, which is average sales price, I want to mention that if you are enjoying this video, please share it out to somebody who might find value in it. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, this next stat I know you're interested in because it's what everybody always wants to know about. It's average sales price. And the reality is we have surpassed $500,000 for the first time ever in the Charlotte market. You'll notice that our little green dot is right at this line here, and we have hit our highest number historically. That is extremely important to note because so many people are still talking about prices coming down. And unfortunately, that is just not in the cards. From what we see, the evidence that is in the market right now, we are not seeing prices come down. We are seeing prices going up over and over again because, again, prices depend solely on supply and demand. And because people still are trying to move to the Charlotte area, our prices are going to keep going up. So this number is significantly higher from March, which was also higher than February, which was also higher than January. So we've been seeing several months in a row with this average sales price increasing month after month. It's also a 9.2% increase from last April. So it's very significant to note that on average, the year-over-year prices are increasing. This next stat we're going to take a look at can be misleading, so I want to remind you about what I said earlier about location. This data comes from the entire Charlotte region, so just keep in mind that you will want to get specific numbers if you are looking in a zip code or even a neighborhood. We want to get the percent of original list price for that area, and I can do that for you. Send me a message. You can also connect with me on my Zoom. Down in the description below, you'll find a link to my Calendly. Schedule an appointment. Let's talk together about what you're looking for in real estate. So in April 2024, the percent of original list price received was 97.7%. That means that the sale price was lower than the list price. Again, this is over the entire Charlotte area, so keep in mind we need exact numbers for your location if you are interested in buying real estate in Charlotte. And our final stat for today is the month's supply of homes for sale. The reason that we look at this number is that it tells us if we are in a buyer's market or a seller's market. Oftentimes people look at somewhere around 4 months and up is considered a buyer's market. So we are still very firmly planted in a seller's market. That does mean that sellers are oftentimes, if they are priced right, sellers are often getting those offers on their properties relatively quickly. And unfortunately, that does often mean that buyers don't get as many concessions out of the deal. But remember, if the home has been on the market for an extended period of time, the buyer can come in and get some concessions. I have done this recently with some of my buyers, so let's talk if that is something you're interested in. Here in the Charlotte area in April 2024, we are at 1.9 months supply, which has been increasing for a couple months now, and it is a 35.7% increase from last April. But just keep in mind it went from 1.4 months to 1.9 months. It's not that big of a difference, but math is funny that way when you look at percents. So it seems a lot higher than it really is. Well, there you have it. Those are our Charlotte, North Carolina real estate stats for April 2024. I hope you found value in today's video, and if you did, can you give it a thumbs up and share it with someone else who might find value as well? If you have any questions over anything we covered today, or if you would like specific numbers for an area of Charlotte that you're considering a move in, can you reach out? My information is all down in the description below, and you can also schedule a Zoom call using my Calendly link in the description so that we can talk about your upcoming move to the Charlotte area. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.